Hi. Hi, Brocksta Rama here. I have a instructional video I thought I'd do. I work over at Bass Pro every once in a while, and one of the most common questions that I get, just from people that don't fish very much, is how do I catch a bass? And so I'm going to go over some pretty simple techniques, pretty easy to do. I'm timing these videos too, so it seems like I'm in the rush at certain times just because I'm timing it, because I don't feel like editing it. So, first thing we're going to go over is a drop shot, okay? Drop shots were made popular by Japanese fishermen because they're high pressure lakes, blah blah blah, nobody cares. Okay, it's just a really good technique. There's a couple different options when you have your drop shot worm, okay? I do like a larger worm, like usually around 6 to 7 inches. The robo worms are my favorite because they have the best action. And there's, I mean, if you know how to, if you're a little bit more experienced fisherman, you kind of know what to look for when it in regard to action. Okay, so I'm gonna get a little closer. And the robo worm it has a lot of action. This is actually a Bass Pro's version of the robo worm. And one of the things that first thing that I do is I kind of look and see how much grass I have. Usually drop shots are for grass fishing, but they're for deeper fishing, deeper presentations. I like to fish with them everywhere. I'll fish with them around cover, I'll fish with them around grass, whatever, just because they tend to get fish to bite when they don't want to hit. So first thing you want to do is see how deep the grass is. The grass in this pond is probably anywhere from 2 to 3 feet high. So I made a lead on my from my weight to my hook, which is a drop shot hook that is not tied very well, but that's okay. I usually use the swivel ones. VMC makes a really cool swivel hook for drop shot applications, and I really like that one a lot. But this is the thing I had on, so this is what I'm going to show you. Okay. So anyways, yeah. So you want to have a nice long lead, just in case, just so when you when you're in the grass or over your structure, it will be right in the fish's face. It won't be like in the grass, and that's just not going to be very appetizing to the fishing. So also what you want to do is when you cast, oh man, if it rains I'm going to be so mad. Okay, sorry about the wind, hopefully it doesn't drive you too crazy. Like I said, it's not a very drop shotty pond. What I do is I try to keep my line tight the entire time, and I'm just barely moving that worm. I have about 6-pound test. You don't need a whole lot. You don't need really heavy tests to do this. When you fish around cover, you probably, you can go ahead and accept that you're probably going to lose some stuff, and that's just the way it is when you fish. Now, I still got a little bit of weeds on that, but if I had a shorter lead on this line, then I would have definitely picked up some more grass. For the most part, it's a pretty weedless application, unless you're in the weeds, because you can usually work it off the cover and it won't get hung up. I very rarely get a drop shot hung up. If I'm around rocks and I'm drop shotting, the only thing that really gets hung up is the weight. The weight will like wedge itself into rocks and stuff like that. So yeah, as you're bringing in your drop shot, just make sure you don't have any slack in your line, and just kind of work it slowly back toward you, and just barely twitch your tip, because drop shot worms, they have a lot of action in the tail, so you just barely move it and the tail goes crazy. I hope I can catch a fish for you. But yeah, I didn't even drop shot fish for a couple of years ago, and this perch messing with my worm. But yeah, I didn't know much about it, and so I didn't really care. But I finally started fishing it in a little bit more challenging conditions, deeper water and colder water, and water without cover, but there's fish still down near the bottom, or whatever the reason. I don't know why I put it on, but I put it on and boom. It's a really good way to start catching fish, start getting momentum, So if you're trying to have a good day just catching fish. Now if you're just fishing to fish, You know, that's one thing, but there's a lot of people out there that will say, okay, well, I fish because I enjoy the environment and blah blah blah, and the old adage. I almost had a perch there. People go through their whole lives fishing, never realizing they're not after a fish, which pertains to the experience of fishing and being in the outdoors and that. I can guarantee you, whoever came up with that little adage did not catch very many fish. So when I fish, I want to fish. I want to fish. I want to catch fish. I want to have a good time. I want my investment in the fishing time and lures, technique, learning everything. I want it to pay off. You know, I don't want to just fish to fish. I mean, that's fun too. Don't get me wrong. I mean, I could go all day and just catch one fish and I'll be happy. But the drop shot is a good way to catch fish when the fish really they're not very active. Like yesterday, I made a video. The other day I made a video, and I mean, conditions were perfect. 2 days before a front, you know, today it's pretty windy. I hope that doesn't affect the video too much. And it probably will. But anyway, so drop shot, worm shot, like I said, you want to make sure that your lead's long enough to keep you above the structure, if there is structure that you're working it around, because it is an open hook, and it doesn't get hung up because it's a really tiny hook. It doesn't get hung up a lot, but it will pull grass. So, and it is a very cool technique. You have a couple different options for color. My favorite color is probably something close to this. They have one that's called Aaron's Magic, which is a really cool color. It's two hues of purple, has a dark hue and then a lighter hue that has a little bit of glitter in it and on top. And you want to make sure that you put in that case, I'll flip it over and I'll actually put the dark on top and the light on the bottom. The reason is just because of that, in nature, most fish, they're dark on the top and they're light on the bottom, just for camouflage purposes. If you ever catch a perch or a bass or anything, you can look at it and see, oh, okay, well, he's right, it is dark on the top. I think it's because when the prey or whatever it is, there's a perch trying to hit my line, they think it's a worm. They think it's an insect in the water. I forgot what I was saying. Okay, whatever. Oh, right. Okay. Okay. So when they look down and they can't really see the predator too well because it blends in, because it does have the dark top and it does blend in with the bottom. Bait fish are the same way. Most fish, bass will not hit something below them. They will hit something that's above them, according to the bass. But there's not a whole lot of differentiation when it comes to working your drop shot. Just make sure you do have that nice lead. I like to tie double clinch knots on both sides. Knots are really up to the person, according to what you like to use. Does not take a real big hook. I mean, the bigger the hook, the more flesh you're going to get. And bass, I mean, even a little 2-pound bass has a pretty big mouth, so they'll get it. If they want it, they're going to get it, and so they don't want it today. Okay, so that's about 10 minutes. I hope this was helpful. The drop shot, like I said, 4 to 6 inches. You want to do at least a 2-foot leader, unless you're fishing really shallow water, which I don't see why you would with the drop shot, unless that's just what you want to do. It's a really good way to get fish to hit that are being stubborn. Like, you can flip it on a bed and get that worm in that bass's face, and they hate it. I don't know what worm insulted the bass in history, but they don't like it at all. And so yeah, usually when you get in their face, they'll go ahead and hit it, get off the bed. Some bass are smart though. They'll actually take the tail and they'll move it slowly off the bed, and that's how a lot of people lose baits, because they think that bass has it in their mouth, and so they yank as hard as they can, when in reality the fish he's just moving the bait. He just doesn't want it on his bed or in his little spot. Okay. If you cast it near ambush points, like along the edge of a wall or the edge of a very a very obvious edge of of cover. Those are good ambush points for fish. Pretty simple setup. I do like the drop shot weights just because they have a little hinge on here instead of the normal loop or the swivel. And what you do is you just stick your line through it. You stick your line through it, and then it will catch it. That way you don't have to waste time tying it. So, hope that was helpful.
Have a good day, peeps. Doo -doo 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 -doo.